Governor Soludo reiterates commitment to quality education as he announces free education for public schools. Nurses Week. Anambra government approves recruitment of more health professionals. FG promises to utilize scholarship as reward for brilliant students. On the foreign scene, Russia bombards Ukrainian power facilities. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good evening and welcome to ABS Evening News. My name is Chinyere Ikioreke. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has announced that students in senior secondary classes in all public schools in the state will not pay any fee or levy that is totaled above 5,000 naira with effect from this first term. The governor made the announcement when he visited Ado Girls Secondary School, Onitsha, to interact with students of the school. Government House correspondent Valentin Baduga filed the report taken from here.
Recall that moments ago, while visiting Premier Primary School, Obosi, Governor Soludo had also announced that pupils and students in primary and junior secondary schools will be absolved of any form of levies or fees, also with immediate effect from this term. The governor, before making the announcement, took a tour of the facilities in the schools, visited and promised the rehabilitation of infrastructure in the public schools in the state. Governor Soludo promised that public schools in Anambra will become a model under his leadership and noted that children of the poor need access to quality education. Governor Soludo described education to be the equalizer between the rich and the poor and reassured his commitment towards quality-based education in Anambra geared towards building human resources that will be productive at home and exportable abroad. He noted that his mission is not just to fix infrastructure in the public schools, but also interested in learning outcome in schools owned and managed by government, noting that quality education is key to achieving a livable and prosperous Anambra state. Governor Soludo said that the free education is necessary to allow every Anambra child opportunity to quality education and warned that no fee or levy should be paid by any child in Anambra from this time. The governor called on the communities, parents, students, and other stakeholders to be involved in the evaluation to ensure effective implementation and productivity.
In Anambra, we want to begin a journey beginning with the public schools run by government. All this, my PTA, my everything today in Anambra, we're beginning a journey from primary, nursery, primary 1 to 6, JSS 1 to 3, in all government schools. All government schools. Nobody will pay 1 kobo.
The principal of Ado Girls Secondary School, Onitsha, Mrs. Chinelo Okocha, and the head teacher of Premier Primary School, Obosi, Mrs. Bibian Udoji, while welcoming the governor in their respective schools, said that Governor Soludo is education-friendly with his huge investment in education system. Among the governor's entourage were the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Solo Chukwulobelo, Chief of Staff to the Governor, Mr. Ernest Ezeajui, Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chumude, Chairman, Post-Primary School Service Commission, Professor Nkechi Ikediugu, the Chairman of ASUBEB, Dr. Vera Nwadidobi, and other top government functionaries.
Governor Chukwuma Soludo has approved the recruitment of more health personnel into the state civil service to enhance healthcare delivery in the state. Governor Soludo made this known during an event to mark the 2023 International Nurses Week, organized by the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Anambra State Chapter, held in Awka. Health correspondent Chibuzo Okoye completes the story.
Governor Soludo, represented by his Chief of Staff, Mr. Ernest Ezajoy, thanked nurses and midwiferys for their great services in the state and noted that his administration has been enjoying mutual relationship with all the healthcare workers in the state and that he has given approval for Anambra State Primary Healthcare Development Agency to recruit more healthcare workers to boost healthcare services in Anambra, especially at the primary healthcare levels. Governor Soludo revealed that his government is currently revamping the 3 major general hospitals in the state, namely Ehulobia General Hospital, Enugu General Hospital, and Umweri General Hospital, and attracted the upgrade of Onisha General Hospital and Anambra State Eye Center NISE to federal medical centers, among others, and that his government has concluded plans to build 3 blood banks in the 3 senatorial zones of the state.
We also put another lump sum of money to build our blood banks in the 3 senatorial zones. Why I'm mentioning this is to show the emphasis and the importance Mr. Governor is putting on health. All these things is to also provide more and more jobs.
The Anambra State Head of Service, Barrister Theodora Igwebe, commended members of the association for the indispensable roles they play in the healthcare sector and advised them to articulate their needs and challenges and forward it to her office with a view to addressing them.
A good number of people were employed so that healthcare services in Anambra State will improve. And in the past few days, we got another approval to employ the healthcare personnel for the 21 local government areas in the state.
The Anambra State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afamo Bidike, said that Governor Soludo is very happy with the nurses in the state and described nursing profession as a vocation that requires passion and called on nurses to pay attention and be careful with the quality of services they render to the people. Earlier, the Anambra State Chairman of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Comrade Edith Onwoka, said that the celebration was aimed at showcasing the role of nurses and midwives to recognize and celebrate the unique and vital responsibilities of the associations targeted at raising the profile and status of nurses and midwives.
Nurses are an integral part of healthcare system who have the potential to shape the image of healthcare delivery at all levels, when supported and empowered.
The head of the Department of Nursing Sciences, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Dr. John Anieche, was the keynote speaker at the event. The event was also used to give awards to some distinguished personalities, including wife of Anambra State Governor, Mrs. Nonye Soludo, who was given an award of excellence in maternal and child care. Other awardees were the Anambra State Head of Service, Barrister Igwebe, the Chief Medical Director of Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, Nnewi, Associate Professor Joseph Ubaja, among others. Cultural dance and many side attractions added glamour to the event. In Oka, this is Chibu Zokoye for ABS News.
Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board, ASUBEB, Oka, is holding a capacity building workshop for all the newly recruited teachers in the 6 educational zones of the state. The workshop began on Thursday 21st to Friday 29th September 2023 and has a theme as Building a Professional and Effective Teacher. Education correspondent Queen Anibogo completes the story.
Declaring the event open at Abakogwe Central School, Ogidi, Idemili North Council area, the Executive Chairman, Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board, ASUBEB, Dr. Vera Mwadinobi, pointed out that the training is organized on the directive of Governor Chukwuma Soludo to equip the new teachers who do not have educational background to enable them to cope in the classroom and be the solution teachers that Anambra State desires. She explained that teachers must be professionals, disciplined, enjoy academic freedom, but not against the national educational policy guidelines, work as a team, and also free to exercise their civic rights, among others. The ASUBEB chairman further added that teaching is for simple-minded individuals, not for those who dress flamboyantly to class, becoming a distraction to pupils and charge them to be role models.
Something that is very important is the ethics, code of ethics in Nigeria teaching profession. You don't just, it's not anybody that becomes a teacher. Teaching is a vocation. Do you know that? A teacher, there are certain things you are expected to do, and there are certain things you are not expected to do.
In her welcome address, the Director, Quality Assurance Department, ASUBEB, Oka, Lady Stella Ezepue, explained that for one to maintain relevance in his or her profession, knowledge must be updated and upgraded to achieve the set objectives, and appreciated Governor Soludo for sponsoring the training. Advised the participant to listen very attentively to achieve the maximum objectives of the workshop.
I advise all the participants to listen very attentively and achieve the maximum objectives of this workshop.
The Archdeacon of Ogidi Archdeaconry, Venerable Frank Obi, disclosed that Apakogwe Central School, Ogidi, was where the late Chinua Achebe began his journey into the academic world, and noted that the workshop for the teachers was to prevent them from becoming amateurs.
Only the chairman of the board to urge you, submit yourself so that God may use you. Once again, an untrained man is a menace to society.
Dr. Gloria Ezuzo from the Department of Education Management and Policy, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, spoke on classroom management and organization for effective teaching and learning outcomes, while Dr. Oge Ezoba from the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, Nwafo Rizi College of Education, presented a paper on the teacher and quality curriculum delivery for the primary school. Knowledge of child psychological principles as panacea for effective teaching and learning outcomes was the title of the paper handled by Dr. Martina Nwangube of the Department of Educational Psychology, Guidance and Counseling, Nwafo Rizi College of Education, Nsugbe. The participants for the Ogidi Zone workshop were drawn from Idemili North and South Council areas, which also had in attendance ASUBEB Secretary, Mrs. Lovelyn Mbemena, Honorable Ifeinwa Anatune, Permanent Board Member 1, Dr. Kana Ayochukura, Board Member 2, Lady Theresa Azodo, Board Member 3, and the Public Relations Officer of ASUBEB, Mr. Collins Onunkwo. Queen Anibogo, reporting for ABS News.
Paul University, Oka, Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Lagos, and Adekunle Ajasin University, Akingba, Akoko, Ondo State, has organized a roundtable discussion in a bid to address pressing issues facing the African continent. The roundtable held at the College of Postgraduate Studies, Paul University in Oka, focused on two critical topics, namely the resurgence of military intervention in African politics, causes and the challenges for African development, and the dialectics of democracy, backsliding, and the future of African development. Emmanuel Chibata completes the report.
It brought together a diverse panel of experts and scholars from different institutions and provided a platform for in-depth analysis and meaningful dialogue on the complex issues facing Africa. In his address, the Vice Chancellor of Paul University, Oka, Professor Obiora Nwosu, highlighted that Nigerian democracy has a promising start but faced setbacks due to issues with operators who had different mindsets and ideologies, outlining that if a democratic governance is fully adopted and applied, the governed will rejoice because the principle of democracy is for the good of mankind.
Nigerian democracy of the early 1960s seemed to have started well. It was not up to 10 years before it started sliding back.
The convener of the roundtable and provost, College of Postgraduate Studies of Paul University, Professor Godwin Onu, explained that the program aims to encourage young scholars to address African issues and contribute to strengthening democracy and sustainable development across the continent.
Collaborating with the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, because what we're explaining to us is an international matter that is also a major concern to NIA.
A speaker at the event, Dr. Kester Ono, discussed the resurgence of military intervention in African politics, citing causes such as political instability, economic crisis, and governance issues, emphasizing the need for peaceful and democratic solutions.
The continent is not immune to the dynamism that pervades globalization. Many civilian and military dictatorship collapse, which pave way for transition towards constitutionalism and the rule of law.
Another speaker, Dr. Hyacinth Iwu, discussed the trend of democratic backsliding in some African countries, attributing it to weak institutions, electoral irregularities, political corruption, and lack of respect for the rule of law, arguing that democracy was a term that was never practiced in Nigeria. Other discussants, including Dr. Vincent Onwealo, and Dr. Amobi Chimogo of the Federal Polytechnic Oko, the traditional ruler of Okuzo, Igwe Charles Anekwenze, chairman on the occasion, Professor Charles Obiora, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics of Paul University Oka, Professor Stella Okunna, and the legal advisor of the university, Professor Karo Arinze Umobi, examined the negative consequences of military intervention, such as human rights abuses, disruption of democratic processes, and the potential hindrance of economic growth and development. They stressed the importance of strengthening democratic institutions, promoting and ensuring the protection of fundamental rights and freedoms as essential steps towards safeguarding and advancing democracy in Africa.
The Anambra State Director of the Department of State Services, DSS, Anambra State, Mr. David Enoch, who is advancing on retirement after 30 years of service to the nation, has received a warm and heartfelt farewell from his colleagues. The ceremony was filled with praises for the retiring officer from his colleagues and friends who gathered to celebrate the distinguished career of Mr. Enoch. Blessing Dennis has details.
The event was marked by speeches, pouring of accolades, and camaraderie that showcased the deep bond among the officers. Speaking at the event, the Managing Director of Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS, Oka Sachido Obidiegu, who praised Mr. Enoch's remarkable contributions to the DSS, described him as one who is dedicated and committed to his work, and prayed God to continue to protect him and his household.
Ask God to continue to bless him in the mighty name of Jesus. Okay. Right.
Also speaking, the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Aderemi Adoye, said he is privileged to have worked with Mr. Enoch, who he said shared the same vision to secure the good people of Anambra State and Nigeria. Mr. Adoye described Mr. Enoch as a law-abiding officer who gave his all and made sacrifice for the good of the state.
I pray that God will put him and grant him fulfillment even in retirement.
The chairman on the occasion, Mr. Charles Odinukwe, extolled Mr. Enoch for his track records while in office and expressed hope that his colleague will continue to uphold the values and legacy he exemplified throughout his career.
Is a man that loved his job and loved the people working with him.
For Mr. Enoch, his journey into DSS started on 1st April 1993 as he recounted how he contributed to the agency's mission of safeguarding national security. He revealed that his source of success in his career was God and advised everyone at the gathering to always pray and trust God at all times. Dignitaries at the occasion include a candidate of People's Democratic Party, PDP, in 2021 Anambra gubernatorial election, Mr. Valentine Ozugbo, National President, Anambra State Association of Town Unions, ASATU, Chief Titus Abudo, and the Executive Director of Operations, Anambra Internal Revenue Service, Dr. Christian Madubuko. Cutting of cake and other side attraction added glamour to the event. In Oka, Blessing Dennis, ABS News.
Still to come on the news tonight, FG promises to utilize scholarships as reward for brilliant students. Russia bombards Ukrainian power facilities. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Stay with us.
Look at these high-quality Quaker oats. Delicious in taste, good source of fiber and energy. There is no denying. Quaker Oats is an amazing start to your day. Quaker Oats, goodness that lasts.
Welcome back. The federal government of Nigeria has promised to utilize scholarship as reward and encouragement to brilliant Nigerians who cannot afford to study in foreign countries so as to make quality education accessible to all Nigerians. The Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, gave the assurance at a pre-departure briefing ceremony for 72 scholars leaving Nigeria to study in Hungary under the bilateral education agreement in Abuja. Ekwe Ajide has the report.
The Bilateral Education Agreement BEA, which started in 1999 with a revitalized scholarship scheme through investing more in national and international programs in a bid to strengthen the BEA with development partners to develop her manpower needs. Some active countries in the BEA scheme include Hungary, China, Algeria, Romania, Morocco, Serbia, Mexico, Egypt, and Venezuela. Other non-regulars include Macedonia, Poland, South Korea, Greece, Japan, Tunisia, and Turkey. Addressing the scholars and their parents, the Minister of State for Education noted that in spite of the global economic meltdown, the number of development partners have increased and urged the beneficiaries of the award to continue to polish the good qualities they've been exposed to and be willing to learn, relearn, and unlearn as they begin another phase of their life's journey. Dr. Sinunu enjoyed the parents of the awardees to always uphold them in prayers and encourage them with sound advice at all times so that they can make them and Nigeria proud by being worthy ambassadors in the country of their studies.
I therefore need to advise you not to see this as a freedom, and you begin to do things that would be disgrace to you, your parents, and the country. I therefore want to put it in short, you must be good ambassadors of Nigeria. Nigeria is investing a lot in you and expect that the returns of this investment will manifest in your coming back to help move your nation forward as earlier mentioned.
The permanent secretary of the ministry, Mr. David Adejo, on his part, admonished the awardees to be good ambassadors of their families and the country while reminding them that the scholarship is not just a recognition of their past academic achievements, but an investment in their future, which comes with great responsibilities and expectations that on their return, they will become catalysts for change in Nigeria.
To congratulate all of you for this success, but you know you are going to foreign lands, you are representing Nigeria, you will be the face of Nigeria anywhere you go to.
Mr. Adejo urged the awardees to utilize the opportunity.
The news continues after this time out. Stay with us.
Look at these high-quality Quaker oats. Delicious in taste, good source of fiber and energy. There is no denying. Quaker Oats is an amazing start to your day. Quaker Oats, goodness that lasts.
On the foreign scene, Ukraine endured a deadly nationwide Russian missile barrage targeting energy facility in Kyiv and other cities on Thursday, just hours before President Volodymyr Zelensky was set to meet U.S. President Joe Biden at the White House. 5 people died in the southern region of Kherson, while a 9-year-old was among 7 people injured in the latest attack on Kyiv. The child and an 18-year-old woman were hospitalized after debris fell from an infrastructure facility onto a residential building, according to Mayor Valentile. Officials called it a terrible night for Kherson City, with at least 3 people killed and 6 injured, noting that apartments, buildings, and cars were also damaged in Russian shelling on residential areas. 2 people were injured in the city of Kharkiv, where Russia launched 6 strikes in the early hours of the morning, according to local officials. At least 10 people were injured in an overnight missile attack on the city of Kherson in central Ukraine. In sport, Rangers have engaged the services of a nutritionist for their players. The nutritionist, according to the club, who oversees the quality of food and drinks intake of the players to aid their performance on and off the pitch. The management of the club confirmed the appointment of an international acclaimed nutritionist, Mrs. Winifred Wambuike. Stay with us for more details of the news.
Look at these high-quality Quaker oats. Delicious in taste, good source of fiber and energy. There is no denying. Quaker Oats is an amazing start to your day. Quaker Oats, goodness that lasts.
Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. On Twitter at ABS Radio TV. On Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. Now on the main point. Anambra State Governor Soludo has reiterated commitment to quality education as he announced free education for public schools. Nurses Week, Anambra government has approved recruitment of more health professionals. FGS promised to utilize scholarships as reward for brilliant students. On the foreign scene, we told you Russia has bombarded Ukrainian power facilities. To end the news, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Thanks for staying with us. My name is Chinyere Ikoreke. Good night.